care, lead, innovate, motivate, balance. These 5 tenets reveal ways of creating a more profitable and customer-centric pharmacy. What will you discover when you climb with RMS?
So welcome everyone. Welcome to Climb. I'm excited to be here. My name is Emily Cannata and I am here today facilitating this awesome conversation around marketing, which is something I know is vastly needed in the industry of the independent pharmacy landscape. I've been in the industry for about 15 years now in various roles, but the longest role was essentially working in coaching for independent pharmacies as well as training. And Lisa Baker and I, who is our honored guest today, have had a lot of working years together. She's amazing, but I'm going to let her do her own introduction. Lisa
Okay.
Baker.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. Thank you for having me here. I was thinking about, gosh, when did my journey start? It was actually in 2000. I went to work for an independent pharmacy, and I'm here in North Carolina. It's a rural area, so we're talking a town of 5,000. And to be hired back in 2000 as a marketer really was very rare. There just wasn't a lot of people that were, actually hired to do that. So I was hired to do compounding, never heard of compounding before at all. That's custom made medications. So I really was at ground zero, had to learn all of that. And that was our goal, was to grow the compounding. We were only probably at maybe 2 to 3 compounds a day. And our goal was to get to 25, 30 compounds a day. And so as I had to learn and just absorb, and I went to some trainings and things to learn how to, to reach those doctors, to get out there, I actually marketed within a 60-mile radius because it is so, because it is so rural. I had to go into Raleigh. I went up into North Carolina, up into Roanoke Rapids and down in Greenville. So I marketed with them for 12 years. And the last couple years, my owner actually made me a store manager, which, to take a marketer to be a store manager over 35 people, I'm not sure what he was thinking or what I was thinking, but it really was the hardest thing I ever did, managing people. And then my owner retired, and I had already been a member of Pharmacy Development Services. So when he retired, I knew that I wanted to go and work there. Call me crazy. But I knew I wanted to work there, and I did. I got hired. Emily was already working there. And so, spent almost 9 years in this coaching world of independent pharmacies. And we did do a lot of trainings and education, and we were the ones that really got in there and worked with that owner or the team to whatever their goals were to make sure that they were successful.
Absolutely. We were the boots on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. We were called the Navy SEALs.
That's right.
Yes.
That was A-team. So Lisa Baker, tell us where you are now.
Well, I'm actually in December, I went on board with Lisa Fost, who is owner of DiversifyRx. She's a pharmacist. I've known her, again, for about 15 years, where our paths kept crossing. She was working at PDS. And so her business is so exciting for me because we're on the ground floor, and I can just only see it going up because she is so progressive and is thinking and doing things that normal, consulting firms aren't doing. And so I'm really excited to be a part of her journey. She believes that every pharmacy has the potential to be a badass.
I love it. That was a shameless plug, and that was planned.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Lisa. We're going to go ahead and just dive in to our conversation.
Yeah.
I've got the hardest questions that I'm going to hammer you. I'm just kidding. We're going to do
Go
a great
for it.
job today helping all these to-be world-class marketers get there. What I wanted to start with is everybody that's listening to this currently, I just want you to take away one thing that you're going to do from all of the awesome ideas that you get today. Just do one thing and implement it well. And then come back and watch us again. And then take a second thing and then go and implement that really well. And then, rinse, repeat. Keep doing that until you've exhausted all the
Mhm.
ideas that you want, but you got to eat the elephant one bite at a time. Don't overwhelm by thinking you're going to do 10 things at once, because that is your quickest way to do nothing because you're overwhelmed. So just one thing that you're going to take away, and I'm going to remind us at the end. Hopefully people are taking notes. All right, Miss Lisa Baker, what would you say are some of the most intriguing and important marketing trends that are taking over in the independent pharmacy market right now?
Well, since the pharmacy world is changing and going into like point of care testing, functional medicine, and chronic care management, that has given a whole different opportunity for marketing, because we need to have these relationships with this doctor in order to have like chronic care management and point of care testing. We also have functional medicine that a lot of our pharmacists are doing now on their own. They're developing programs. I mean, we've got weight loss. We have, different types of testing to see, like I just got done taking a nitric oxide test to see, so those little tests like that. So with marketing, we have to think about, first we segment who is our target audience. That's probably one of the most important things. Owners of pharmacies have all kinds of ideas. So it's up to us to take those ideas and drill down to see what is actually for our pharmacy is going to be the best way that we will actually, because it's all about profit. I mean, we're seeing that the retail scripts are just, the reimbursements are horrible. And so more and more of the independent pharmacies are going into cash.
Mhm.
And so when you have cash, it is a totally different market. And so, does that make sense, Emily?
Yeah. Yeah. And are there trends in terms of platforms? Because obviously relationships matter, especially with some of these more extensive type of opportunities like a chronic care management program, or, some of that, or even getting, flu clinics, going. That still takes relationship business wise. But
Yes.
would you say that there are certain platforms that are more trendy now than previous years?
Well, I know that beyond, like back in the day, it was me out there, visiting within a 60-mile radius. Now we have a lot of different modalities that we can reach, not only patients, but also the providers and things. And, a lot of my owners now are stepping out of their comfort zone and they're trying new things. They're going and they are, with their relationship with the doctor, it doesn't have to be, back in the day, we would take a lunch and we would go in and we would have, maybe 20 or 30, employees who could care less really what you were there for. So this is specifically targeting either the doctor or like the nurse that works with that doctor. And getting in past that gatekeeper to have that one-on-one relationship. That's our biggest thing. But a little tip is we use LinkedIn. you'll see a lot of marketers linking in with the doctors. You're going in and they're accepting, and then next thing you know, you can go ahead and contact them. Say, hey, did you know that we're offering blah, blah, blah? So you have to always think of different ways of reaching.
Sure.
And, we video conferencing when COVID hit, a lot of video conferencing with doctors and staff and patients. And I think today that is kind of the norm.
Okay.
It's not unusual. People, so when we're going out there after the business, there are two ways to look at it. If we look at, if the pharmacy is thinking of it as sales. So let's take, for example, compounding. So compounding, there's a specific product. And so oftentimes pharmacies will hire salespeople to just go after that product. They're not really there to create a relationship. They want to sell that product, and until, it runs out and they go on to the next product. Whereas as a marketer, you are actually building a relationship, sustaining that relationship, taking care of the patient together. And that's probably one of the most important things that you can do.
Awesome. Okay, we'll revisit doctor detailing here in just a minute. Awesome. And okay, so what are you thinking in terms of what you're hearing with the pharmacies that you've worked with over the years? Like what are the challenges that the owners are facing with marketing?
Well, it's time, of course, and I'm not seeing too many marketers being hired. It seems to go in trends. But we do encourage the owner, look at somebody on your team that may have some excellent people skills, or, is really able to get out there into the community and have those relationships.
Sure. The person on the team to identify would be the one that has the best relationships. Maybe somebody that's running your sync program and has contact on a regular basis with some of the patients and knows them and can even help you identify, like if we're working on compounding or nutrient depletion or whatever it is, that person might actually know, just cherry pick a couple of test run patients to see how it'll go. That's a really good point. So yeah, there's the time factor, right? There's limited resources. Are you still seeing that out in the world of pharmacy? Is it hard to have a full staff? Are people on shoestring staffs?
Oh my gosh, yes. I was just talking earlier today about how, they'll hire somebody and they won't show up. They'll hire and they only last a couple days. They're having difficulty with being able to pay the amount of money. So we've been really focusing on how could we offer a base salary with the potential of earning more. Like there was
productivity.
Yes. Yeah. And so, once you have it all written down and you're really going through, like, here's your base pay, here's your potential that you can make, it makes sense because it's a visual, right? And so that way people are on board. But it is a challenge out there. And then when they're understaffed, then they're working and working and working, and they're not able to work on the business. So they're so busy working in the business.
Stuck in the weeds and hard to elevate out of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, how would you say, because everybody's got the time issue and constraint. A lot of people have the issue with not being able to, pay $100,000 for a top sales executive coming out of big pharma, right? Where would you say is the best place to start?
I would say to first start with your retail patients. you can focus on marketing within your four walls. That's what makes sense to me. And then from there, you can begin to go out into the community. And that includes just community events, maybe going, being a part of chamber. And then you're also, when we get into doctor detailing, it's just harder.
Yeah.
But even Emily, like making follow-up calls, having those conversations, having what we call up solutions. So like if you are, if you're looking at a patient that is on a statin drug, it's our job to educate them about, that, oh, if you're having muscle cramps, well, then here is, coenzyme Q10 that's being depleted. So it's a lot of marketing within the four walls, making sure that the staff is trained on what the goals are, how to have that conversations, because that's out of their comfort zone, is being able to talk to a customer. They don't want to feel like a used car salesman. So, they are your marketers. It's not just me being the marketer, but your whole entire team is the marketers for you.
Perfect. I love that. I love, just to recap kind of what I heard you say, and tell me if I'm making a mistake, but you don't want to go and start spending money on advertising and print and paid ads on social media. First, start within your four walls, right? Identifying somebody that on the team that might actually have some talent in communicating with your actual customers currently. Have them start working on some educational opportunities, like any patient, run a report. Any patient that's on a statin medication, let's call all of those patients, educate them on these are the symptoms of a patient that's long-term on a statin: muscle cramps, fatigue, brain fog, all of those things. Did you know that taking coenzyme Q10 can help alleviate some of those symptoms? Can we have one ready for you for the next time you come into the pharmacy? Super easy, right? And doing that within the four walls. So in-store signage, right? Changing up the end caps.
I was just going to go there. Yeah.
Okay. You take it away. Take it away.
No, Emily came up with a really good point, is that, you do want to have that signage. You do want to have those end caps. You want to have, of course, your staff trained. The cash register is like prime real estate. That's where you can say, are you having problems sleeping? You always want to go with a problem that they might be experiencing and a solution that you have. And so you're educating and then you're inviting. And that's what your job is to do. Everybody on the team should be able to do that.
And it's not sales. It's not sales. Don't scare the team by saying they have to sell.
Educating. Yeah. It is. Because as healthcare providers, that truly is our role. And people want that. That's the big shift I've seen, Emily. Back in the day, they want to just go to a doctor, get a pill, don't want to take care of themselves. But today, more and more people are researching, understanding what's going on. And that's why it's more important for us to be able to educate and then again, invite.
I love it. And it's so important, because prevention is half the key, right?
Yeah.
And, welcome those questions that you get. And, training the team to not be afraid of talking to patients, right? You're not trying to be a pharmacist. You're just trying to, again, educate them on things that things that are well, documented scientifically, invite them to make that purchase, or, to maybe even have an appointment with the pharmacist to talk it through more. That's still a yes. If you get a yes, I would like to talk to the pharmacist about this plan. Great.
Or Emily, you could have videos. So they actually have a QR code. So they can take that QR code, which takes them to a video that they can now watch. I mean, the technology is just amazing to me about, how you can reach that patient.
You reminded me of there was a time in our lives where we would very much encourage an education station within
Yes.
the pharmacy. And with technology today, having the backup, the YouTube video, the QR codes that lead them to these videos and this educational resource. I mean, it's really not that complicated to be amazing, right?
Mhm.
And customers want that. They are.
Yes.
Dr. Google is a real thing. People are researching these topics. They want to know all the avenues. I know even for me personally, when my stepsons were getting diagnosed with the ADHD, I was really resistant against them taking these hardcore medications that could change the chemistry of their brains, and they ended up taking these medications because it was a necessity, but not long term, not forever. They're still not on them now, and they're not that much older. So but
Mhm.
everybody is going to try and educate themselves. So if your pharmacy professionals that are working there, they're doing a disservice if they're not doing the education piece, because otherwise people are just being their own Dr. Google, and there could be contraindications. You do want a pharmacy
Yes.
involved. Same thing with
Yes.
CBD, right? Who are you going to go buy CBD from the gas station, or are you going to go to a professional that has been educated in the pharmacy landscape, right?
Mhm.
So that's another one. Awesome.
And two, like with the videos, people are constantly scrolling, right? They're scrolling on Facebook. You better not make anything that's over a couple minutes because you're losing them. And then also going into YouTube, short videos. I've been working on our Pharmacy Badass University. We're creating some trainings and courses, and we are chopping them up into 20-minute increments. So because that way they can watch it, they can leave, they can come back, and it's not going on and on and on. So that's a lot of big differences using Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, writing a blog, podcasts, podcasts are everywhere.
Sure. I love it. Before we dive into a little bit more of doctor detailing perhaps, and the marketing spend and things like that, did you want to share any examples of good
Yeah.
marketing?
Yeah. Yep, I do.
Let's check
All
it
right.
out.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. This is how, back in the day, I'm going to tell you that for a pharmacist who is very, I don't know, how would you describe them? They would never think of anything out of the box like this. Even one of my old members was like, I just don't believe in Facebook. And now today he's out there creating some from Facebook posts. So this is how forward thinking a lot of pharmacies are. This is from North Century Pharmacy. Easton actually comes to our summits and teaches other pharmacists how to begin to, think outside that box.
So you know about our compounds and our CBD, but now I'm back with an NC pack tracker NCP. Don't drop your pills in a tray, cause you're looking like a rookie. You gon' love this even more than Cookie Monster loves a cookie. Your power bottles is a mess. Won't you back that thing up? Causing way too much stress. Back that thing up. You can put that in a vial. Pack that thing up. Let us go the extra mile. Pack that thing up. Your power bottles is a mess. Won't you pack that thing up? Causing way too much stress. Pack that thing up. You can put that in a vial. Pack that thing up. Let us go the extra mile. Pack that thing up. It's as simple as can be. Pack that thing up. And we do it all for free. Pack that thing up. You just pack that little pouch here when you're out here. Get your doses without doubt here. What about you? No more bottles and bottles. No more bottles and bottles. No more bottles and bottles. We'll pack it on the spot. Bottles and bottles. No more bottles and bottles. No more bottles and bottles. We'll pack it on the spot. Pack it on the spot. Pack it on the spot.
This gentleman is a pharmacist out in North Carolina, and you can see that he really is just a good old boy.
I already
Here, pharmacist in North Carolina. This stuff's pretty incredible. It's the roll-on made by a Nanda professional. Where do I use it at? Well, I'll show you. It's going right here on my neck. I have a deep pinched nerve. It goes in my belly button. I'm not going to show you that. I have irritable bowel syndrome. It helps with that. I've got rheumatoid arthritis, so it goes on both shoulders. I've got knots on both shoulders. Just rheumatoid. It's just genetics. Crazy stuff. Dental pain, menstrual cramps, fire ant bites, jellyfish stings, burns in the kitchen. It's great for all that. Order it. Use the user code Scott T.
I love it.
It cracks me up. And you know what, with him, I mean, I would love to do a 4 walls consult, wouldn't you? Did you see all that back there?
Yes.
That was fun.
Yep. Sign up for Lisa to help you walk through your pharmacy virtually.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome.
We used to do a lot of that. But
Okay.
yeah, so they're thinking outside the box.
I love these examples that you gave, the TikTok and the Facebook, which I'm sure is also on the sister Instagram, right?
Yes.
And then, so great examples. Thank you for showing us some real life examples of what pharmacy owners are doing, getting outside of their comfort zone a little bit, and showing that the tools are out there. You have to embrace and try. So let's talk a little bit more about doctor detailing and how do you start that within your pharmacy. Let's say you're starting from zero. You don't have any doctors that you're working with. How do you identify who to go after and how to start that process?
Well, it goes back to what your goal is. So let's say that your goal is to grow compounding, right? So what you would do is lean into your software. Software is amazing now. So you can run reports to see what doctors, are sending you the most, because that's really where you want to start first. The doctors that you've already had a good relationship, maybe they're not sending you compounds, but they are sending you retail prescriptions. So you would identify those doctors, how many prescriptions are they sending in? What are they sending in to you? So now that gives you some insights of what could we offer these doctors. And for me, we did bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. So that was I was looking for OBGYNs and seeing what they were already writing. And then from there, that's where I was going to go and visit them. Okay. And that first visit is basically going in and introducing myself. It's about, again, building that relationship, right? And getting to know Emily at the desk. And Emily's got, 3 kids. And so it's getting to know them and finding out. We don't really do lunches or breakfast anymore. It's really trying to get into who would be the best person to talk to.
What about if, let's just say that compounding is never going to be something that a pharmacy implements. Couldn't they do that with perhaps, partnering with that doctor on the prescriptions, maybe synchronization program? Like, let me partner with you and I can help you synchronize these medications for these patients that we share. And hey, send over any other patients that you want to have this level of coordination and support. They'll be our VIP patients, let's call it, whatever the program you want to call it is. So that could be a way, if you're not ever going to do compounding, you can still make the relationships with the doctors and the physicians and prescribers that are sending you patients. It's all in your data, right?
Yeah. And, even having the conversations with the physicians, what challenges are you seeing? I mean, back in COVID, having that conversation, that they were able to connect with the pharmacies and provide certain services for the patient, certain drugs. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is about connecting with the doctor. He is the expert, and allow him to go ahead and give you his views and listen. That's probably one of the most being a marketer is listening. Sometimes we want to go, we want to vomit out everything, but this time now we're really focused and we're listening to what that doctor's saying.
Yeah. Active listening. It is a skill that has to be practiced because especially with how, overstimulated we all are. We're all like
Oh
on
my gosh,
2 or 3
yes.
things, so like, let's cut off, focus, listen for the unsaid even. And that can help build that relationship, whether it's through synchronization or just, spitballing ideas with this physician that is going to respect you as a medical professional and helping them help their patients. It's all about helping the patient.
It ultimately it is. And to go back to the synchronization program, pharmacies do get dinged. They get DIR fees if their patients are not compliant. And now the doctors also have that. So working together is perfect.
Yeah. Find the common ground on that shared pain point of let's not let the insurance companies say more of our bottom line. Okay. Awesome. Thank you for that. Now a couple more questions and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
Most importantly, right, if you are struggling to find a very huge, well, first of all, is there a formula for how much you should spend on marketing? Is there a secret number?
Well, usually you'll take your total revenue and then depending, you'll take 1% of that. You'll come up with 1%, 2%, 3% numbers. And that will be kind of your median. I mean, today, really, because we aren't spending on newspaper, not very many people are even doing TV, so it's a lot cheaper to do Facebook ads, things like that. I do have some of my members that are, they are using marketing companies to create their Facebook pages for them. But the independent pharmacies still have to sub. They've got to put their own personal spin on that. And then there is, we want to make sure that if they're doing any faxing or if they're doing specific targeting. So that's where I see some dollars go to, is like the marketing companies to help them, with flyers and things like that.
Okay. So I like it. So out of all of your revenues, 1%, 2%, 3%, you've got your range, and start wherever you're comfortable, I guess would be a good start. And then, identifying the best sources. Again, it goes back to your targets, right? If your target audience is not on TikTok, then don't worry about TikTok. If your target audience is on Facebook, go to Facebook. You know what I mean? So it also will help you with identifying where to spend those dollars whenever you decide what is your spend that's allowable and comfortable. And then
like Emily, there's a great book by Alan Dibb. It's called The One-Page Marketing Plan. But I worked with the marketer on, she wanted to grow packaging. And so we created, who is that ideal person. We talked about the ideal person. We talked about the ideal doctors. And then what was a clear message? Sometimes, like I talked earlier about vomiting out stuff, we want to give a clear message of, how we can help that specific, like if it was a caregiver that was taking care of, someone, how this packaging could really ease the burden for them. and help them with keeping, their mom and dad or whatever out of the hospital.
Yeah. I wish that packaging was more of a thing in the area when my dad was towards the end of his life. It would have saved my mother hours upon hours upon hours of pill sorting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing it for vitamins now.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so brilliant, so awesome. So if you have that capability, use it. Awesome. Okay. One last question, and we have already touched on it a little bit. Are there resources to outsource your marketing if you just don't have the staff at hand to be able to kind of do some of the heavy lifting? And would you say it's worth it?
If you have the right company, that I started working in my other job, working with 2 different companies, and there was a big difference. The one company was meeting, because I would meet with the member, I'd meet with the marketing girl, and we all met together, and we created a calendar. And she was on it. I mean, she was like, okay, I'll have this. We'll have banners, we'll have postings. And so it made it so easy, and it really was worth the money. Whereas the other one was doing some real blanket type of posts and inconsistent. So it is very important that you have the right person to help you market. But even more importantly is being a part of that. I didn't realize how important it was to help, the member to help with the marketing company.
Sure. Right. So there's no abdication, right? You still have to be somewhat involved in making sure you're getting that return on your investment to get the biggest bang for your buck, let's say.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. All righty. Well, we've covered all the questions that we wanted to cover. Is there any lasting thought that you wanted to share before we wrap it up?
Just think about marketing within your 4 walls. Think about marketing outside your 4 walls, like the community marketing, wrapping in your doctor detailing in that, and then using your digital media sources. If you can do all that, yay, you've got it.
I love it. Awesome. And remember, we're just taking one specific thing that you're wanting to implement and doing just that one thing. And then we'll welcome them back to watch us a million times.
And I can't wait to hear what that one thing was.
Yes. Share in the comments. We'd love to know. What is your one thing? Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. Have a great day.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have you settled for a limited bundled-in POS because you aren't sure what's compatible with your pharmacy management system? At RMS, we've developed a revolutionary integration portal, and our state-of-the-art POS solutions integrate with over 30 pharmacy management systems. Unlock the door to powerful, cutting-edge point-of-sale functionality, no matter which pharmacy management system you want to use. At RMS, the choice is always yours.